The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Aging Horizons. Today we have a special guest with us, and today our topic will be about Social Security disability benefits. We have so much more, and there are changes coming up for 2026 we want you to be aware of. So stay tuned and we will be right back.
Did you just text me?
I didn't want to disturb you if you were sleeping.
Sleeping? I'm sitting right next to you, silly.
There you are. Hey, I found a couple of Medicare helping programs online that I think we ought to look into.
It says if we qualify, we can get help paying for our prescription drugs. Oh, and there's a program that can help pay our Part B premium.
To learn more about extra help and Medicare savings programs, call your local SHIP counselor today.
Maybe I better text him.
Someone who said they were from Medicare called and asked for my personal information.
I noticed a charge on my Medicare statement for a test I don't remember having.
I got a letter offering me free medical equipment if I gave them my Medicare number.
Something didn't seem right.
It seemed too good to be true.
If something seems odd, it's probably fraud. Call Senior Medicare Patrol at 800-551-3191 to report fraud. This project is supported by a grant by the Administration for Community Living.
Here in Montana, we love our outdoor activities. Unfortunately, few of them are risk-free. Indeed, Montana is second in the nation per capita in head injuries that can destroy the lives of people we love. That's why you should insist your family always wear protective helmets. But you can do even more. When you fill out your vehicle registration this year, circle the Y and donate $1 to support traumatic brain injury prevention and education. Now that's using the old noggin.
Today, class, we'll be discussing the term ombudsman, a word we borrowed from the Swedes and never gave back. Say you're a resident or you have a loved one in long-term care. Now, what do you do if you're not happy with the care and services you receive? You call your long-term care ombudsman, of course. Your ombudsman is available to support you and your rights. An advocate on your behalf could be the ticket. This is your home. If you have questions, the numbers right there below me have all the answers. Class dismissed.
We're back. Welcome to Aging Horizons. This is a program brought to you by the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services, Senior and Long-Term Care Division. Our special guest today is David Baer, and we will be talking about Social Security disability benefits. And there are changes coming up for 2026, and we hope that David will enlighten us as to some of those changes. Welcome to Aging Horizons, David.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here and explain these important changes to the programs.
Thanks. Okay, let's get down to the basics again. How does Social Security Administration define disability?
That is a good place to start. So the Social Security Act defines disability pretty specifically. So for adults, it's you cannot work because of a severe medical condition that has lasted or expected to last at least 1 year or result in death. Now, the condition actually prevents you from doing what we call substantial gainful employment. And there is a dollar amount attached to that. And for 2026, that amount is $1,690 per month for most people, or if you are blind, there is a higher threshold of $2,830. So essentially our definition is you have to be so severely disabled, you're unable to work and earn $1,690 per month for a minimum of 1 year. That's generically our definition.
So that's a pretty strict definition. So what are some of the main types of disability benefits that Social Security offers?
So at Social Security, we actually administer two different programs for individuals who meet the definition of disability. We have Social Security Disability Insurance and Supplemental Security Income, or SSDI and SSI for short. Now, the SSDI, that one's similar to retirement benefits, and it's based on your work history and Social Security taxes paid. And SSI is a needs-based program for individuals with limited income and resources.
Okay, David. Now, I bet my viewers are a little confused about the difference between SSDI and SSI. Can you touch on that a little bit more? Because I was a little confused just.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So with SSDI, it is an wage replacement insurance program. So just like retirement, if you pay FICA taxes and you have insured status, you become disabled and are unable to work and earn that substantial gainful employment amount, the SSDI will provide a monthly income or a wage replacement income based on your earnings. And so that's the wage replacement. And SSI, it's actually funded through general tax dollars, not Social Security taxes. And it's designed to help people who are aged, blind, or disabled, and they have limited income and resources, and they may not have that insured status. So it's kind of a backup. If somebody maybe didn't work or didn't have work enough to be insured, we still have a program that can ensure that they're able to, provide for themselves.
Okay, so when can an individual apply for disability benefits?
Well, they can and they should apply as soon as they become disabled, because it can take a little bit of time to make those determinations. The current application process is anywhere from 6 to 8 months. So we want to make sure that people apply as soon as they become disabled. And also, if they wait too long, there's a potential for them to lose out on benefits. So we want to make sure as soon as people get disabled, they want to start that application process.
And so when I start the application process and fill it up, what next?
So what happens when somebody files for disability is we at Social Security, we will screen them to see if they meet those basic requirements. Do they meet the insured status? Are they working? That's what we do at Social Security. At Social Security, if they meet those requirements, we gather all their medical records, we gather all their information about where they've been seen, and then we actually forward the case to the state. And at the state, it's called Disability Determination Services, so DDS. DDS, they employ doctors and vocational experts and disability specialists who actually will review the medical records and make that determination on whether somebody meets that definition of disabled.
And how would I know if I'm approved or disapproved when I apply? What happens?
Well, if somebody is approved, they actually will send the case back to Social Security and we'll review, make sure they still meet what we call the technical requirements for the program. And if they do, then we'll send them a letter that says, hey, you've been allowed. Here's when your payment's going to start. Here's how much your monthly benefits are going to be. And here's your reporting responsibilities. If they're denied, DDS will send them a notice that says, hey, we've denied the application. These are the disabling conditions that you listed. Here's the medical records that we gathered and we looked at. And then they'll say, hey, this is the reason why we denied you.
Thanks, David. I want my guests to stay tuned. We have so much more information that Dave is bringing us. So please stay tuned and we will be right back.
I was outside working on some equipment, nothing too strenuous. I started sweating and feeling out of breath.
When he felt pressure in his chest and aching in his arms, I knew we had to call 911.
First responders were there before we knew it. 38 minutes later, the doctors had restored the blood flow to my heart.
Now we know dialing 911 saved his life.
Your life is on the line.
This message sponsored by Mission Lifeline Montana.
You've probably seen some big-name celebrities on your TV lately talking about all the Medicare benefits you're missing out on. But the insurance companies who are paying for these ads may be pushing benefits not available in Montana. Fortunately, help is available from a friendly state health insurance assistance program counselor who can help you sort it all out. It's free, and we screen everyone for eligibility regardless of your zip code. It's Montanans helping Montanans. Call today.
Montana's veterans answered the call. Now our veteran service officers are here to answer theirs. Whether it's filing a claim, accessing healthcare, or navigating earned benefits, you're not alone. Our VSOs provide expert guidance at absolutely no cost to you. You served our nation. Let us serve you. Visit your local VSO today. Call 406-324-3742 or visit veterans.mt.gov. Montana serving veterans.
Hey, caregivers, did you know that respite time is your time? How will you spend it?
When the weather's good, I gotta get away for some fishing, and that's a must.
Fred Dahlbeck. Clancy.
My grandson tells me we suck at golf. Fun though. And there's never enough time to keep the old 57 Chevy happy.
Montana Lifespan Respite. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
Come on, girl.
Hello, everyone. We are back with Aging Horizons. I'm your host, Wilmot Collins, and we've been talking to David Bayer of the Social Security Administration. So, David, let's get right into it because most people think that you become disabled when you're elderly. So I want to know from you, what happens with the younger workers? Are there special rules for younger workers that become disabled?
Yes, there is. There's actually special rules when it comes to that insured status. So in order to file for disability insurance, you have to have worked and earned and paid into Social Security, and there's a set number of years. And the younger an individual is, the less they have to have worked and earned and paid in. So if somebody became disabled prior to age 24, for instance, they generally need 1.5 years of work in the 3 years before they became disabled. And from age 24 to 31, they need to have worked half the time since the time they turned 21 to when they became disabled. So if somebody became disabled at 27, we just do 27 minus 21, which is 6, divide that in half, which is 3 years. They'd have to have worked and paid in Social Security for 3 years. So the rules are designed to account for people who become earlier in their careers.
Oh, great. So can family members apply for someone's SSDI?
So if somebody does become disabled, there are certain family members who can draw a benefit off of that record. For instance, a spouse. If they're caring for a child who's under the age of 16 or who has been found disabled under Social Security rules prior to age 22 could draw a benefit, as well as that child could draw a benefit off of that record. And if, let's say, the disability ends with the worker passing away, there's also survivor benefits that can be paid to the family members as well with that same criteria. A surviving spouse, if they're younger, if their child is under the age of 16, they can still draw a benefit. And then that child could also draw a benefit up until their age 18 or 19 and still in high school, or if they're found disabled under Social Security rules.
Wow, that's valuable information there, David. But what happens if I'm on disability, but I feel like I can work, I want to work? Is there anything prohibiting me from working?
No, we actually have special rules at Social Security. We call them work incentives that allow individuals to return to work and test their ability. There's also programs that help with education, rehabilitation, and training. Or if you do take a job or become self-employed, though, you want to make sure you let us know right away so that we can, help guide you through those different work incentive programs and make sure that you're following the criteria and that you're well informed to make sure that there isn't any type of overpayments or anything like that comes about if you do return to work. Just make sure you let us know right away so we can help guide you.
Right. I know you review cases every so many years. How often do you review Social Security disability benefit cases?
Yeah, so everyone who receives disability will have their medical condition reviewed periodically. It's called a continuing disability review, or we call them a CDR because, that's a lot. But it depends on what the disabling condition is. Now, if somebody has a disabling condition where medical improvement is expected, we can review the case, usually within 6 to 18 months. If medical improvement is what they call possible, then we do it about every 3 years. And if medical improvement is not expected, then we set it up for a review for every 7 years. And the initial award letter that they get that says they've been found disabled, it'll tell you what category you're in and when to expect your first review.
So let's turn a little bit to SSI. I know earlier on we talked about SSI. So who's eligible for SSI?
So anybody that is disabled and under the age of 65, or if they're 65 and older and have limited income and resources, can qualify for SSI as long as they live within the U.S. or the Northern Mariana Islands. And even if you're not a U.S. citizen, you must lawfully be residing in the country. So for SSI, it does have some limitations on where you can reside, but it's designed for the low income, low resource individuals.
So I know in SSI, we talk about resources and we talk about income. So what counts as income and resources quickly?
So income is in any type of income that comes into your household. And that's how, with SSI, we do look at the household. So it could be, work and earnings, it could be wages, Social Security benefits, pensions, VA benefits, unemployment, even gifts from family member or friends can affect SSI. And the resource limit, it's $2,000 for an individual, $3,000 for a couple. And when we're looking at resources, we look at just about everything besides a few exceptions like the home they live in, a car, things like ABLE accounts, or some money that's set aside for burial. But just about everything else is kind of looked at as a resource when we're looking at individuals that qualify for SSI.
Okay, David, thanks so much. We'll be taking a break, so don't go away. We'll be right back with more information. David has a wealth of information for us on Social Security disability benefits. Stay tuned.
With as many as 1 in 10 Americans at risk for Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia, chances are someone you know and love will receive that diagnosis. When that happens, you may well feel devastated, but know that you are not alone. Help is available. You don't have to face dementia by yourself. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
Out here, we love our animals, from the wildlife to the livestock. Inside, it's the same. They're just like family. We keep them happy and healthy, most of the time. Secondhand smoke puts pets at risk for cancer, feline lymphoma, vomiting, increases the risk of tumors and lung cancer, even causes eye and skin disease. Secondhand smoke puts your pet's life at risk.
Hey, caregivers, did you know that respite time is your time? How will you spend it?
Respite is really perfect for things I like to do, but my son isn't interested in.
Vicki Henry, Manhattan.
Gardening isn't one of his favorite things, and he knows and likes his caregivers a lot, so it's a win-win. Or even something as simple as a bike ride becomes possible when I know that someone I trust is with him.
Montana Lifespan Respite. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
It's good for both of us.
I was diagnosed with diabetes in 1992 and I went into denial. It made me angry. I was a professional chef and I didn't want to change my eating style. It took me a long time to get serious about managing my health. My perspective changed from resentment to one of loving my body, the container for my spirit. Getting help from my diabetes educator supported my goals of improved self-care. I want to feel good and have a great life. My diabetes educator helps me do this.
We're back, and we will continue our discussion with David Bayer of the Social Security Administration. David, I know we're talking about families and SSI and children and all of that. How does SSI work for children?
So children can qualify for SSI as well. The one difference is, though, is when we're looking at whether a child is disabled or not, it's hard to know if a child can work and earns $1,690, right? So what we do is we look at the physical or mental impairments that result in marked or severe limitations in functioning. The condition still needs to be expected to last at least 12 months, though. Now, when it comes to SSI, though, again, we are looking at the income and resources of the household. So we're going to look at the parents' income and the child's income, because the children could have potential income such as child support or Social Security, auxiliary benefits, or gifts or any other type of income, but they can still potentially qualify for SSI.
If I should be receiving a SSI, what are my responsibilities for people receiving SSI? Reporting, because I know we have to report if we got resources or we got extra income and all of that. So what are those responsibilities in reporting?
So yes, you need to report anything that may affect the Social Security or the supplemental security income eligibility or benefit amount, such as change of address, living arrangements, like if you get married or divorced, or if you, like, for instance, if you leave the country for more than a month. All of that needs to be reported as soon as possible and no later than 10 days after the end of the month in which the change has occurred. And you can report these changes, either by phone. So a lot of the stuff can be reported through the My Social Security account or mobile app. So that's, again, that My Social Security account can be really time saving if you have that and you need to report any of those types of changes. You can do a lot of that through that online account.
So what happens if I don't report it? I forgot and I didn't report it, or I traveled for 2 months.
Well, if you don't report the changes, you could be overpaid and then have to pay money back to Social Security, or you could even potentially lose your benefits. It's really important to make sure that you keep Social Security informed, just to avoid any of those types of issues in the future.
Let's go back to travel, because what happens if I travel? I travel outside of the country and I don't report it. I'm not going to be receiving any extra overpayment from Social Security. But if I don't tell you, what happens to me then?
So you kind of cut out there a little bit. If somebody leaves the country and they're on SSI,
right?
So if they leave the country for more than the full calendar month, they're not due that SSI payment. The reason why is because SSI does come out of general tax dollars, and it is also an economic stimulus. We want to ensure that those funds are going to stimulate our local economy. So the Congress wrote in the rules that, yes, if you're outside of the country for more than 30 days, like throughout the calendar month, there is an overpayment on the record. So you would not be due payment. So if you were gone for 90 days, after that 30-day period, you would have 2 months where you weren't due those that SSI payment amount, and you'd be responsible to pay those funds back.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Hey, what about, can you tell us about Social Security Online? My Social Security.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk to us about that.
So the My Social Security account is an online portal that is your account. You just have to be over the age of 18 with a valid email address and a U.S. citizen to set one up. But that My Social Security account, once you get it set up, it is your account. So it lists out, even if you're not on benefits, it'll tell you, how much your estimated benefits would be. For instance, what happens if I do become disabled? How much would my benefit be? Or if I were to pass away, how much is available for my family members? And once you're on Social Security benefits, again, your account, you can use it to get replacement documents, or I'd mentioned earlier, some of those reporting criteria, you can use that My Social Security. Say somebody is working, you can go and log into the My Social Security account, and you can upload things directly to us here at Social Security. And we're expanding that all the time and increasing what you can do with that My Social Security account. So I highly encourage all U.S. citizens over the age of 18 to set one of those up.
Great. And if, for some of us older folks, getting on the computer can be difficult sometimes. So what happens if we're having difficulties logging on, getting on to ID Me and all of that? What can we do?
Well, that's a great question. So we are utilizing third-party credentialing services to establish the My Social Security account. Both login.gov and ID.me can be used to set up that My Social Security account. Now, if you are having difficulties setting up one of those accounts, one option might be to try a different one. Try the other one and see if maybe you can set that up. And also, both login.gov and ID.me have help centers and FAQs on their website that will help with the guidance. They can do password resets or technical issues. You can also submit what they call tickets, where you can reach out and type, hey, I tried to set up login.gov or ID.me, whichever, and it says my phone number doesn't match, but this is my phone number that I've had for 20 years. Can you help? And they'll actually have somebody reach out to you and can help work you through that.
Thank you, David. I appreciate that. I want to thank you for all this information you brought to us today. This has been Aging Horizons, and I'm your host, Will McCullins, and see you next time.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.